Bitcoin and Ethereum. What's his next move? Let's find out in the chart, shall we? Wow. So since we last spoke, right? I was telling you, man, this thing was gonna dump heavy, and look at that. Bitcoin just went down and broke down. Now we have some sunshine though, right? We're like, oh, we're gonna go down, and no, and we continue back up. We're backing up now, and yeah, we're gonna talk about that and what does it all mean. And unfortunately, I have some bad news for everybody. I'm like, it's so bad that you're gonna be saying, Da Vinci smoking the pipe 5x5. But I do have some good news in the very end, so it won't be all doom and gloom in this episode, just a little bit. So if you want to trade all this doom and gloom, and you could do so by heading over to bybit.davincij15.com or femex.davincij15.com or btcmex.davincij15.com, and you could trade the market's ups and downs as they go, but make sure that you understand the risks. These are leveraged exchanges, and you could lose everything you have, so make sure you only place what you're willing to lose on these exchanges, or basically not trade them at all. Actually, just buy and hold, basically, is my philosophy for everyone. Just avoid the trading, just watch this for entertainment, right? And we're going to be talking about some news articles, of course, as well, some critical news articles, and I'm going to be drawing the dots for you of why these things are very important. And yeah, so it's going to be an action-packed episode. So with that said, before we get on to the charts, remember, this is trading entertainment and is not for financial advice. Please do your own research before putting any money in the market. Okay, now that that's over, let's head over to the charts. And well, you can see we nice W bounce up here, and kind of like really ripped people a new one here. That wick here. Let me just remove that. There was an indicator. I mean those drawings. I guess it's not going to do it for me. Okay, there we go. Let me just click on this, and let's go and do a fib to see where this thing's going to come back to. Right. Hopefully that did trade there on all the exchanges. I'm going to assume that it did, and as you can see, we are actually not only broken out right heavily here on this. We've broken out on this trend line here. We've broken this trend line, which I thought, okay, well, we got to break it before we can see any kind of positive action, right? Unfortunately, right? I would say that we're probably going to come to the normally without looking at any other indicators. I think, okay, we gotta come. It's still difficult to read, but I think we're gonna come up to this 61.8, 78.6, and maybe roll over, create a W, and off we go, right? But then I started noticing something as I started zooming out. I noticed something here. I'm like, no. And so I had to go to, when in doubt, zoom out. And so I went to the weekly, and I was like, no. Yes, it is true. It is true. We have not only divergence on a yeah, let me just change the thickness of this.
It's 8 o'clock.
We have divergence, right? And let me just change the color so you guys can see it to red. You can see that. Let me see if that thickness is the maximum we can go. Yes, it is. So let me just zoom that, make that bigger so you guys can see that. Right. So divergence, right, and the divergence, right, has been confirmed. It's actually double divergence here, but right, and the confirmation came last week when we broke down through this level here. So to determine if what's it called, a divergence is confirmed or not, you have to let me change the color to, let me just put it this purple, and thickness, As you can see, this is once we break from this line to this point here, right? Which means what's it called, divergence. And then on top of that, in between here, you can see the lowest point. You could call this a confirmation between here and this point here as well, because we confirmed it once we broke through here. But this is another divergence as well, and we broke through here. Once we broke this level here, this point here, that was a confirmation point. And now, although we're bouncing higher, it's not good. What makes this this even worse, and it gets worse, right? As we go along, right? Oh, sorry. We've got we have divergence here, but another thing that we do have here, if you look at it, unfortunately, what we also have is what's called a Dabo short here on the weekly, showing up here, and also you know, you can see that the divergence in volume is huge. Once you have that, generally it plays out exactly as planned. Unfortunately. So, and to make insult to injury, as you can see, there is a Dabo. So if we zoom this up a little bit, let me just make this bigger. You can see, right, there's an M here, right, for the Dabo. Just draw it out here. There's the M right here. Oops, let me just change the color. Add a little thickness to that. You can see the M here, and the corresponding M also exists on the RSI, MACD, and the Willy indicator. Well, I wonder if this one broke. Yeah, it's broken. So it's only exists on the slower RSI. So you can see the M right here, right? And so what does that mean? Well, generally on the Davos, right? This is a Dabo M here. So generally, what you would do is you would short it from the opening, but because it's on the weekly, you wouldn't want to do that. Because the weekly is just, well, it takes a while for it to play out, right? So you end up being on the wrong side for a longer time than normal. So basically, we're gonna trade this a different way. I wouldn't take this short anywhere further past the 21 EMA, because we're still in a bull market. But I think this could turn into a long-term bear market for Bitcoin. So the best thing to do here to short this is at the 78.6, or start adding at the 61.8. We might not even get there. There's a lot of resistance here in that level, but you know, Bitcoin loves the 61.8, so I kind of find it hard to believe it's not going to come to the 61.8 and or at least or reject at the 78.6 and really get the bulls going again, just to suck them all in and destroy them. Now, remember, at any point in time, this could end up doing this W and then go, right? So even though this short looks solid, right, it could end up, because we're still in the bull market, right? You have to be cognizant of that, and sometimes it tries to ignore the what's it called, the technicals. Right, the technicals are clearly pointing on the weekly that you can't really ignore it. You can't ignore it. You have to take a short. You have to watch for this to unravel on you in the short term, unfortunately. Sorry to interrupt in the middle of the stream, but head over to BlockFi.com/DaVinciJ15 and you could earn $250. Also 8.6% on your crypto. Of course, know your risks and you'll be able to trade crypto over there. Also get access to a credit card, allow you to spend your crypto. Links are in the description below. But I do have some good news. All right, the dominance, right, is ready to drop. Bottom is about to drop out on the dominance. So that probably means that Ethereum is going to run heavy, right? It's going to run, you can see we created a nice W here, lots of W's, new W's here that caused it to basically go higher. You can see the W's everywhere, and off we went. So you can see it could have you traded this guy right here. You could have got an entry there and taken this all the way to this thing probably going to go all the way up to new highs at this point, I think. So, oops. Let's see here, right about here. Yeah, so it's going to break to new high probably before we actually, I don't think we're going to come back though this time around. I don't see this thing coming back at us anymore. I think we're at least going to have to break through to the top there. You can see that the volume coming in is heavy, so this is definitely a new movement higher, right? The volume is definitely higher overall to blast this thing off. So people are looking to buy now on the shorter time frame. If you're looking to get in on this, right, you'd have to go down to the shorter time frame, of course, maybe down to 5 minutes or so, and see if you can like bag an entry. You can see there was an entry here for a W market structure here, and that was a breakout. We were a little bit stressed out, but it looks like it might have played out already. Let's see here. Yeah, it might have played out already. All right, and so if you want to, yeah, this might have been played out, yeah. Oh, almost. Yeah, we're almost done here on this trade here. So you would have, would you have been stopped out? I don't think so. No. And so yeah, this trade is done, right? It's already finished right now as we speak. So you're gonna have to wait for some sort of like trading pattern to get in on this. And right now, I think there's nothing you can do on the shorter time frames. So just sit on your hands basically, unless you unless you have a trading pattern that says you should take some sort of long, or take a short even, right? That's what you do. I wouldn't do anything else. Don't see anything. I'm sitting on my hands, and hopefully you guys are as well, because this thing, you can see my indicators are saying, hey, there's a lot of pressure to move this thing back down. So don't get caught on the wrong side of that. Okay. With that said, what's going on with the fundamentals, right? Fundamentals are so strong, it's not funny. There's so much good news everywhere. Was sitting down chatting with one of our administrators on the group, Lee. He's actually in the group doing trades for me. An excellent guy, and he's called me to tell me to get me up to date. And yeah, we need to focus on getting Bitcoin, looking at the Bitcoin price, and determine whether or not it's gonna continue higher. And you know what? It's hard to believe that it's not going to go higher with all the positive news. But let me just start off by talking about Coinbase listing of Tether, because a lot of people don't understand what the significance is. Everybody's like, oh, it's great, oh my goodness, yeah, it's great, but I don't understand why it's so good. Okay, well, the reason why it's good is because try to take $100 cash out of Coinbase and put it into, I don't know, Bitstamp, for example. Well, what would you have to do? right? Without Tether, right? Well, first you'd have to withdraw it from Coinbase, and assuming that you have a U.S. bank account, it might be fast, right? If it's not, right, it'd have to be wire transferred to you, right? So that will take a little bit of time and try to cost you $50, and then when you get that the remaining change, you're gonna have to transfer that to Bitstamp, and you're gonna have to wire transfer that, and that's another $50. Right? So you have nothing, right? And that's an example of what, and then obviously it could get lost, right? Whatever you do transfer could get lost along the way. It could take a while to get there, and so yeah, it's not very convenient. But with the USDT, you could actually just send it straight to the exchange. That's that instantly. There's no with little fees. You're like, yeah, that's right. And then you could actually arbitrage too now, really fast. You can do arbitrage, right? And here's another cool thing. If you want to create your own exchange and you didn't want to deal with banking system, right, because they're nasty, right? You could now use USDT and Bitcoin, and that's it. And you don't have to have any deal with any bank at all. Period. Done. Zero. Pumpkins. Nothing. Nada. So yeah, that's the power of USDT. Now I really don't trust USDT, but they've been around for a while, so I don't think they're going to be going anywhere anytime soon. All right, I'm going to run through some of these news articles really fast because I need to go to the hospital to see a friend, right? And so I'm gonna be running off soon. So, anyways, Binance to launch MicroStrategies and Apple and Microsoft stock tokens. This is huge, of course, for crypto space, and you can see why this is going to like melt down, right? Anytime soon, right? And most likely, these guys are being added because maybe they might be putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Just guessing here, they might be doing that. Right? Apple and Microsoft. So interesting times indeed. Breaking: PayPal-owned Venmo adds crypto buy and sell options. So now you can buy like $1 worth of Bitcoin with your Venmo. Most likely you're gonna have to. It's gonna be custodial. It's in their custody, but at least you'll be able to buy some Bitcoin. Another easier way to buy Bitcoin. So yeah, very positive news, fundamental news for the price of Bitcoin. It's just the technicals don't look so good. Another cool thing, right, is that the banks are just going toe to toe. This is like, it's unbelievable. Like, I knew this was going to happen, but to watch it happen, as the Signature Bank goes head to head with Silvergate in Bitcoin-backed lending. I'm like scratching my head, like I could have swore there's no regulation. You don't have the regulatory approval for that. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, they're probably just gonna do it anyways, and get fined and wait for the government to come after them, and then just pay the fines and stuff like that. Whilst other banks would be like, why are we not doing that? And the scary thing is, right, I read through some of this, right? Look at this. I mean, they've already started talking about deposits in the billions of crypto, right? Just in the first quarter. 4.4 billion. I'm just like, wow. And so those are the deposits so people can actually, borrow against it. We've reached a new level here. Alrighty, people. Wow. It's a positive thing. All these news articles, and there's so much more going on that's positive for Bitcoin. So you're wondering why the price is not rising, and why could we possibly go down. And yeah, the charts, the technical analysis is not 100%. Just because we have, divergence here, divergence there, doesn't mean that we will definitely go down. It's just higher probability, technical. That's all. That's all it means, right? And it sucks, right? Fundamental analysis does not tell you what's going to happen in the short term. It only tells you what's going to happen in the very long term. And so, yeah, you're going to have to consider that, right, when you decide whether or not you want to sell your Bitcoins, which I don't suggest you do. Don't suggest you sell any of your Bitcoins, right? If you want to do a leverage short, okay, that's fine, but make sure you do it with very small amounts of your Bitcoin. But you should not sell. You should just hodl, be a hodler of last resort, and hold Bitcoins. And if you want to join us in this group, because we're doing this live and I'm going to be doing a question and answer period, and I also talk to the audience that are watching it right now, before and after the show. So make sure you participate by purchasing Pandora's Wallet subscription or heading over to DJ15 and purchasing a subscription there as well. Also, if you want to watch a show and you don't want to pay for a whole subscription, you can purchase the DJ15 token. Alrighty, guys, thank you for watching. Right, appreciate everybody showing up today, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. I know haven't been 2 consecutive shows. We will see. All right, cheers, people.